I really like our story. That makes part of working for Scootaround is very meaningful. In 1997, the founder of the company, her name is Lee Mahar, she was planning a very big family trip off to Hawaii and wanted to include every single family member, and that included her father, Clarence Vincent, who had 10 years prior, in 1987, had suffered a stroke, giving him a partial paralysis on one side of his body. Mr. Vincent became very, very accustomed to using a mobility device in that 10 years and really enjoyed his freedom and the independence of how to bring that mobility scooter to Hawaii with them from Canada. They finding a lot of challenges. It was becoming progressively more difficult. Shipping the device there was challenging. You know, they would have to depart from the device and he would have to depend on somebody else for wheelchair push. And it was very costly at the same time. This is 1997, right? So they thought ahead and called the hotel that they were staying at, only to discover that the hotel only had manual wheelchairs for use for customers. So through the help of the hotel, they were able to get the yellow pages and find a local company in Hawaii that sold the devices but did not rent mobility scooters. Being as innovative and forward-thinking as she was, she made an arrangement with the company to have a short-term rental, or they would purchase the device and then return the device for a restocking fee. Once the family Hawaii and the device was there for them, that's when the idea came to them that there's going to be other people just like their father, Mr. Vincent, that are going to need a device everywhere they go. They don't want to necessarily have to depend on a family member to push them around in a wheelchair when these people are very used to using a mobility device on their own. So that's where the idea came to them. And upon returning from the vacation, after a very successful vacation where he was granted his independence by using his device and didn't have to rely on anybody else, that's when the idea came to them. And they literally had the idea, you know, they knew that people like Dad, Mr. Vincent, would want to scoot around on their own. So that's where the company name came from. Registered the domain name, got the 800 number, and literally started working off of a pager, letting people find their way to this very obscure 1997 version of a website, taking the kids to swimming lessons, and she would get a request for, you name the city. It was just a company that just sort of found its own natural setting. The customers found it. And she would run to the library, open up the microfiche yellow pages for Charlotte, North Carolina, to Phoenix, Arizona, to anywhere in between. And she would call local companies and set up rentals for customers, knowing that people out there were looking for a service just like this. Fast forward 24 years now, and we service hundreds of thousands of people across the world. We operate multiple contact centers, facilitating customized rentals for people just like Mr. Vincent in 1997. We do that every single day. And when you have a reason why like that for your company, it becomes a very, very meaningful, easy to do your job and easy to enjoy when the service you know is going back to the original customer like that. Every single person is the same.